Hey yo, welcome to my top 5 things Borderlands 4 needs from me. These are my opinion and you're all entitled to agree or disagree with these. I played these games since day one and I just love the franchise, even though it can suck sometimes. Anyways, on to my top 5. So number 5 on this list is good pacing and writing. The Borderlands story is hit and miss for some people, but I feel like the story needs to be gripping, just not for as long as Borderlands 3. Replaying through it isn't the worst thing for me, but again in Borderlands 3 it felt too dragged out after multiple playthroughs. I want a good, nice story to play through, but I don't want it to just drag on with constant things all the time, especially with the dialogue. The dialogue always became a huge issue because you just stood around doing nothing a lot of the time, which means that your playthroughs are constantly dragging out longer and longer. Even if you just want to get a character to max level or just finish the story so you have another class to play, you don't get that option, or you didn't get that option throughout playing the story, and it's a little bit unfortunate that way because it's just, you kind of lose all retention. Anyways, on to number 4. This one I haven't really seen anyone talk about that much. Solid locations, like good locations. This one's going to be kind of controversial in a way because what I actually mean is just in-depth locations and the reasonings for them. Like, I always use Athena's for example. Like, I think it's a proper cool place to go, but you're there for one main mission and that's it. There's not much else to the place, and I feel like when you have Pandora with Borderlands 1 and 2, like, it's been fully fleshed out. You get to spend a lot of your time there, you understand, you get to go back to locations that you play in Borderlands 1 in Borderlands 2, and it feels like it's a living world more than you just go to this location, do a quick mission and then leave. I feel like it was a bit gimmicky to just, oh yeah, let's put all these planets in, and you don't really do too much there, which is a bit unfortunate. But yeah, that's my number 4. And on to number 3, we have got raid bosses / endgame. Like, we need a raid boss at launch, maybe even 2 invincibles at launch minimum. The end game for Borderlands 3 is a great end game, but it has some other issues which I'll be talking about in the next 2. But the original end game is just, it's needed for longevity. You can't stick around or expect people to stick around when there's nothing there at the end. Like, I remember going into like Terramorphous and stuff, I know it's like Borderlands 2 times, and you just sit there and you just grind it out because his drops were awful, but at least he existed and it was something exciting at the time, and it's something that Borderlands is really good at doing if they actually implement them into the game. Also, a quick mention for takedowns. Takedowns really should return. I thought takedowns were amazing, mainly the Mallow one compared to I can't remember what the other one is. The other one's good, but it kind of felt a bit too Destiny, and it didn't have enough checkpoints. Like, restarting it wasn't really ideal, but it was still fun nonetheless. I like the zone. So on to number 2. Number 1 and number 2 are quite interchangeable. They are basically on the same level for me. Anyways, remove anointments completely. I know this is like kind of 50-50 in the community. I just don't see the need for them. To me, they offer too strong of an advantage to care about the actual weapons that we're getting as drops. Borderlands did used to be about cool weapons, and now it seems to be about the anointments you get on those weapons instead. Like, I remember getting a legendary to drop and being excited, and now it feels like the special side of those legendary weapons are getting taken away by an anointment, basically just crappy numbers and text at the bottom of the screen, and it doesn't really resonate well with me because, like, I enjoy getting these weapons and they're unique, they're cool, but if it's got a bad anointment, I don't care, I'm not excited about it. It doesn't get me energized, and I need that. Like, I feel like that's what Borderlands is to me, is you grind, you get a good drop, it's cool, not looking at some text of an anointment and then it's trash. And finally, on to number 1, dedicated drops and the legendary drop rate. Need I say more? Farming for weapons is what Borderlands is. Killing a boss over and over to see what they drop, and it's a rush to see what they can drop. Recently, you just kill a boss and it'll drop 5 legendaries. the issue with that is there's no excitement. You don't know which one they actually are supposed to drop. They're just dropping everything. It's just given to you on a platter. And if everything's given to you on a platter, how is the game supposed to last? The game isn't going to last. Because you've just gotten everything from one singular boss that has just removed the need for you to go find the boss it's actually supposed to drop from. So I don't really understand where they went with this one. It was a bit strange. All I ask is just turn down the legendary drop rate just a bit. It doesn't need to be Borderlands 2. Ideally, I'd prefer it to be Borderlands 2, but that's just, again, my opinion. Everyone has their own, and they're perfectly entitled to that. I just want it to not be Borderlands 3 drop rate, take everything, because I don't think anyone will stay around that long. Like, especially people who are there to grind it out. I understand there's casual players, and that's perfectly fine, and it's perfectly fine, but at least give an option if you're going to do those drop rates. Give an option for someone who wants them to be rarer, or just something along those lines. Anyways, that was my must-haves for Borderlands 4. I'm super excited for this game regardless, and I hope everyone else is too. Leave your thoughts and comments down below of what you want in Borderlands 4, what you want to see. I'll read through them all. I've got the time. This is my first ever video like this, and I'm still learning YouTube and stuff, so support would be much appreciated. If you could drop a like, a comment, or even a sub, it'd be perfect. I'd absolutely love that. But thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time.